Yeah, welcome back to another episode of Day One Radio. We appreciate y'all watching on Live Hip Hop Daily, and we appreciate y'all listening on all the different podcast outlets that we're on. You can catch us on Spotify, I think Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, et cetera, man. So we definitely appreciate y'all looking out, man, and definitely appreciate y'all went crazy on that Tariq Nasheedism radio interview, man. That's the most listens and views we've ever got on any of our shows. So we definitely appreciate that, man. That shit was dope, and we chopped it up later. He definitely liked the interview and was very complimentary as well, so shout out to them. Make sure you listen to his radio show as well as Ism Radio with him and Bree and Layla. Well, yeah, man, this ain't going to be too long of a show today. I was trying to bring y'all a little special guest, but it didn't really work out. But we still keep it going. We got to bring y'all content every week. And before we get into the silliness and all of that stuff, man, I want to talk a little bit about a somewhat serious topic. I don't know about anywhere else in the country, man, but in Atlanta, we've had some weird stuff going on with the police saying people allegedly hung themselves. Like, when you listen to the Tariq interview, we spoke on the gentleman at Morris Brown who allegedly put a chain around his neck, locked the chain, and put the keys to the locks in his pocket, and then jumped off the bridge with a backpack on. I don't know what kind of sense that make, but, it don't sound right to me. But apparently earlier this week, a woman in South Fulton on Old National Highway hung herself from a tree overnight outside of Walmart. The police discovered her, and they said from their investigation, they believe she killed herself. Now, granted, I don't want to be conspiracy theorist guy at all, but I'm just saying, be careful, man. We living in one of them times where we got an idiot and running the country, allegedly, the face of the country, and we have a lot of people that are openly racist or openly discriminatory against black folks. I hate the term people of color. The police and the news people will say people of color, but that can mean anything. It's people being discriminatory against black women, men, and children out here and putting us in harm's way. We got stories every other day about somebody calling the police on somebody because they're going into an Airbnb, or you seen everybody's using her as a meme, the lady in Oakland that called the police because they was barbecuing at Lake Merritt. And it's all well and fine, man, to make jokes, but that thing can turn into gunplay real quick. You know what I mean? Just stay on your toes out here, man. Protect yourself at all times. Stay on all 10 toes. Keep your head on the swivel, because it's not a game out here at all. Like, people make you think it's all fun and games, but it's very serious out here, and it's a war going on, whether you want to believe it or not. It's definitely a war. People saying, well, this will happen, they'll put us into a race war, yada, yada, yada. It's already a war going on, whether it's between races, whether it's between the haves and have-nots, whether it's between the right and the left, whether it's between whatever. However you want to phrase it, however you want to look at it, it's definitely a war going on. But that's that, man. I just had to get that off my chest, man. I'm very concerned about that, and it's funny because everything is perception. So now we have, all of a sudden, we talked about this as well, all of a sudden everybody pissed off at R. Kelly, even though he been, dealing with underage girls for the last 20 years. Like, he married an underage girl. Everybody knew this, and people will say, well, their parents knew, so it's okay or whatever. But wrong is wrong. Like, period. Just because you a talented dirtbag don't mean that you are not a dirtbag. Like, so... Spotify took down, they have the whole Mute R. Kelly movement. Spotify took down R. Kelly's stuff out of their curated playlist as well as out of their algorithm to pull stuff up. And, that's all well and fine. But I said initially when they did it, while you at it, like, let's talk about Mick Jagger. Let's talk about all the Jerry Lee Lewis. Let's talk about all these other cats that's been out here wifing up, having sex with 14-year-old girls, 15-year-old girls, whatever, for many, many years. Like, it's straight up stories. There's a story about David Bowie that went around that they tried to say wasn't true for the longest. But there's a group called Ultraviolet, who I believe is ran by a black lady. And they came out and put an open letter out to Spotify and imploring them to expand the treatment that they're giving to R. Kelly and how you say his name? XXX Tentacion?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't be knowing. So that guy, But then in addition to that, they want him to take down Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nelly, Eminem, Don Henley, Steven Tyler, 6ix9ine, and Chris Brown, because they've been accused of abusing or harassing women. And I'm like, I get it, but how far does it go? Because I'm like, people don't like you messing with their money. And when you artists are the lowest on the totem pole, period. So when you messing with their money, you messing with labels' money, you messing with publishing companies' money, and you messing with parent companies of those companies' money. And whether y'all know it or not, there are a lot of music companies that were early investors into Spotify. So for all intents and purposes, they own pieces of Spotify. So I'm like, so are we going to do that with Harvey Weinstein, with all the films from the Weinstein Company that everybody is touched? Are all those movies going to come off HBO? They still show Seventh Heaven on TV somewhere. My man was accused of molesting children, and he admitted to it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, where does it? I'm not saying it should stop. I'm just asking, where does it stop? Where do the rules apply? Because that's one thing. You always got to protect your children. You got to protect your women, period, point blank. But I'm just wondering, like, why the specific targets with legal action and not the other way? Why Bill Cosby the only one in court?
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, it's real interesting. And then, with rap, man, if you've been in any parts of the industry, you've heard the stories of the things that go down in the studio and all the craziness. So what do you say to that? Like, it's coming. I'm just wondering, what is the purpose of it? Is it a money grab? Is it a morality thing? Or is it both? Or is it you're wrong, so you need to pay, and we can't take you to court, so we're going to drag you through the mud and get some money on the back end with civil suits? Which one is it? And also, what about the women? Like, we're talking about the men, but I've heard several stories of women strong-arm loving other women and things of that nature in the business. So what happens when it comes to that? Like, I'm very curious to see how this is going to go down. And all this accusatory things, it's like, I get it. Like, nobody wants to be the person to say, yo, but we don't know what really happened when it comes to a woman getting beat up, or a child being touched, or anything along those lines, because it's such taboo things in society and they dead wrong. But now, everybody we had got Fabulous out of here. Now we seeing Fabulous and his lady showing up together. I think she was in court together. And I mean, we saw this with the Ray Rice thing, and that was on tape. You know what I'm saying? And they got married right after. And whatever happens in the house between a man and a woman is their business. It ain't none of my business. You touch a woman in my family, you gonna disappear. But other than that, it ain't my business. Period, point blank. So I'm very curious to see, like, how do we handle these things? Because I personally y'all haven't heard us mention that stuff on the show, period. Because I'm like, I don't know what happened. Unless I see pictures or video, I don't know what happened. People lie all the time. It's dudes and women in jail right now for crimes they did not commit because somebody said they committed them. It's people in jail right now where the spouse didn't want to press charges, but the DA, that happens in California all the time. The DA want to press charges, so it's like, it don't matter if you pressing charges or not. We trying to convict. So it's a cold game. And, another cat that got caught up in that, and that story kind of came and went real quick, is the Nas, where Kelis came out and said that Nas was beating on her, or they had gotten to it with each other. And I'm just like, what's the purpose of this? Like, y'all divorced. Why are we talking about it now? But then we see why we talking about it now, because she's taking him to court for more child support. So a lot of people was talking about Nas's finances, which was, and I don't believe this is really his finances, but according to the reports, Nas gets about $175,000 a month. He got about $8.3 million in the bank, and the legal documents list his monthly expenses as a little over $76,000. a month, and 20,000 of it goes to helping out his family members, which is understandable. And his rent is $15K a month. Why Nas is renting anything, I don't know. But
his West Coast house.
His West Coast house, for sure. But I thought that was interesting. And you were saying, what was you saying? The law is what, 15%?
Right. So she gets 8,000. So technically, out of the 175 a month, she should be getting 25.
So what is the percentage? Is it 15%?
Yes, I believe 15%.
So 175,000.
Oh yeah,
I got it. 0.25. That ain't right. 175,000 times 0.25. Yeah, I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot of bread for.
He's getting 175. 20 is like 20,000. Is like $20 basically, right? And then it's your child. It's your child too.
It is your child, but I'm like, Kelis is a chef. I just saw Kelis at a Essence event cooking in front of a bunch of people and people fawning over her, and she was talking about she's getting a farm and selling her mansion and yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, fam, like, you have a business. Right. Like, is it spite or is it I need this to take care of the child? Which one is it?
I'm going to go with spite.
But we're men, so we don't want to sound sexist up in here.
Right.
So I'm like, it's just kind of funny to me. But I also, Nas is one of them cats that he got in with the right people very early. And if y'all aren't familiar with Nas's portfolio, he has a company called Queensbridge Ventures. They were early investors in a lot of companies, including Dropbox, Lyft, Robinhood, Tilt, Casper, Genius. He's also one of the owners or the owner of Mass Appeal that just did that Rapture series, and they got other stuff coming up.
The 2 restaurants?
What is Sweet Chick? More than 2. They got more than 2 in New York and more than 2 in LA now. So Nas is eating. Nas got a nice accountant. I refuse to believe Nas only got $8.3 million. Like, I ain't buying it. But hopefully.
So then you would you say he should give extra? It's 8,000. Think about that. He's getting
dog, $8,000 a month when you have a job already, or a career, or a profession, is a lot of bread. Like, I don't have children, but I'm like, bro, a driver, a tutor, food, clothing, private school, that's about 8,000. And it ain't like he's supposed to take care of the child all on his own. She's supposed to be kicking in too. And I don't want, Kelis, has had her history in the industry, so is Nas. So it is what it is. That's their business. But I just thought that was kind of janky, because I'm like, the alleged beating story precedes coming in to get some more bread. I'm like, come on, bruh. Like, that's just kind of janky. I'm not really feeling that at all. But, yeah. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Herb, before the playoffs started, we were saying LeBron and LeBron against the Warriors. Do you still think this is the case?
Yeah, he's gonna win. You know that. He's gonna beat Boston, man. Come on.
All right. Well,
come on, man. Come on, you don't think so? You think they're gonna lose this season?
No, I think the Cavs are gonna win.
Oh, but you're saying when they get to the fight, right?
I mean, we know how the story ends. Right. I've been saying this all year. Like, it is what it is. But the Cavs, dude. My thing is the Cavs. I really feel like LeBron is just gonna take over, and he's gonna go in and go to the hole 20 times in a row, and Baines and Horford have no answer for that, and that's just gonna be that. You know what I mean? Like, it's. Boston won a game last year as well, but I'm super impressed by how Boston is being coached, and I'm very impressed by these young guys stepping up. I think dude got to be top 3 coaches in the game for sure. Like, it's kind of right. He said number 1. He put up the number 1. I don't know. You got to win a ring to be number 1. So, but yeah, I'm super impressed. I really wish they would not have included that draft pick in the trade with Cleveland. To me, I know everybody is like, Danny Ainge is a great GM, but that didn't make any sense to me because you get DeAndre Ayton and that's a game changer to me. But they ain't, you know, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, my Warriors are, you know, it is what it is, man. Y'all know what it is.
I know. They got the cheat code.
If Kevin Durant had never came, they would still win the rings, bro. Like, it is what it is.
Kevin Durant.
If Kevin Durant had never came, they still win the rings.
Come on. Nah, man.
Yeah, all that sounds good. And they can't hear you. You're not on the mic. You're not on the mic, bro. They can't hear you. You're not on the mic, bro. Matthew Dellavedova.
LeBron had to get Draymond kicked out to get a ring.
Exactly.
And Dellavedova was shutting down Steph Curry.
He was?
That was series number 1.
He was shutting him down?
Series number 2.
He was shutting him down?
Series number 2, they did lose. Then they got Kevin Durant. Yeah, that's a cheat code, bro.
Okay, so I understand you're just trolling, and that's cool. But at the end of the day, man, this team is light years ahead of damn near every other team in the league. It is what it is, man. I'm looking forward to the finals, man. Hopefully.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you looking forward to it if you know it's going to be?
Why am I looking forward to the finals? Because I've been a Warriors fan my entire life, and if I had to go through 14 seasons of us not making the playoffs, why in the world would I not want to watch the finals and we're going to win? 14 seasons? Can you imagine rooting for a team for 14 years that doesn't go to the playoffs? You're not on the mic. Come on, man. You are, nigga.
I was like, imagine being rooting for a team that was only good in NBA Jam. You know what I mean? Like that was the only time I've ever seen the Warriors good was NBA Jam days.
Run TMC. Sprewell and Weber for a hot second. Don Nelson is one of the worst coaches in NBA history. Can't stand him. Never have been able to stand him. And finally, we are good. Mark Jackson, if somebody else – I have somebody talk to me about Mark Jackson at least once a week about what he deserves and if he's being blackballed.
So?
Hell no.
Think so? Come on,
Hell no.
Man.
Have you ever seen – if you can find me a clip – or a picture of Mark Jackson holding a clipboard drawing up anything when it counted.
Can you tell his brother how he didn't even want Steph and Clay nor Draymond? Can you explain that to me?
It's not a bit. I'm going to tell you, but going back to Don Nelson, I'm going to tell you why Don Nelson is one of the worst coaches ever. Don Nelson told Steph Curry his rookie year that he wanted him to average more assists than shots per game. How you tell somebody with a J like that you need to average more assists than shots per game? Come on, man. You trying to destroy that man's career. Like, that's absolutely...
But didn't they say Don Nelson was like a
alcoholic?
That's where what's the Houston coach get his style from?
D'Antoni. I feel like they both wanted to win without defense, but D'Antoni is similar. But I think D'Antoni is better at making players better. Like Don Nelson was always butting heads with cats. That's why Weber ended up leaving. Like it was all bad, man. So
what do you think about this series? Is it gonna be a sweep, or is Houston
5
gonna win?
It'll go 5. I think Houston will win game 2. I think Houston will win game 2, and then the Warriors win 3 straight. They don't have the answers, bro. Like, you can't. It's too many dudes you got to guard.
That's the cheat code, man. It done got all into the video game. You can't even play video games because niggas want to just shoot threes all day.
But the thing is, that's funny that people say that, but the Warriors win because of defense and easy buckets. They don't win because of threes. The Warriors went 4 for 12 against one of these teams and still won the game. You got so you got to think, bro. This is the most telltale stat that I've heard, and I'm not a huge stat dude. There have been, I don't know about last night, there have been 9 30-assist games in the playoffs. The Warriors have 5. The other 15 teams have 4. That lets you know everything you need to know. They get easy buckets because they don't exert that much energy on offense because they pass the ball, they cut, they play basketball the way you're supposed to play basketball. So if you have another team that's exerting all this energy on both ends of the floor, by that third or fourth quarter, they're going to be tired. And that's when the smash comes in. It happens constantly. It is what it is, man. Before we got on the air, though, we was talking about the Azalea Banks Cardi B thing, bro. Like, I don't understand. Like, Azalea Banks, is she really legitimately crazy, or is this just trolling?
I don't even believe she's truly from Harlem, man.
Now you done kicked her out Harlem? Come on, H. You kicking her out of Harlem, bro?
Word, man. The way she spoke about the RZA, man, hurt her brother, man. I'm like, how you gonna do this? And he put you out there.
That movie is so bad.
Oh, you saw the movie? See,
that shit is trash. I'm one of those people that if I'm just flipping through Netflix and I see black people and the synopsis sounds cool, then I'll give it a shot. I watched it. I kept watching because I was like, it has to get better. Jill Scott is terrible in it. Azalea Banks is actually decent in it. The writing is just so bad. It's just terrible, bro. It's absolutely terrible. I can't. What is it? Love and Hip Hop. What's the name of the joint?
I don't even know, man. I know.
It's something along those lines. But
But that's what I saw when she can rap, because I saw the little trailer.
No, she can actually rap.
Yeah.
No, she can actually rap. It's just she talks so crazy about everybody, and it's always beef. So now she was going at Cardi B talking about you and then start claiming that you was black until you got you got on, and it's just like, why you care? Like, why are you concerned?
I think she was saying what I got out of I was about to say what I got out of it was, she said if a black girl talked like her and all that type of with the broken English, people would be jonesing on them and they killing them.
Who makes black women look worse than Azalea Banks? That's what you said. Tell Azalea Banks to stop being conveniently black. That's straight up. That's so real. Like, you constantly fighting, you constantly beefing with people. Like, come on, man. This is absolutely ridiculous. So we got the draft lottery going on now as we recording. The Clippers got the 13th and 12th pick. It doesn't matter. They're the Clippers. Like, they'll be the Clippers forever. Sixers got the 10th pick. Yeah, this is. Sorry for being quiet on y'all. We all basketball heads in here, so thankfully I don't have to worry about who we're picking in the draft. We won't be seeing the lottery till I'm in my 60s, most likely. So,
luckily y'all didn't get Johnny Flynn. Like, just know that.
Yo, and you know what's funny? I liked Johnny Flynn in college. Dude, he was raw in Syracuse. I ain't even gonna lie. Yeah, man. Well, yo, we appreciate y'all listening, man. We just in there shooting the shit, man. It's a quick show, as I told you it would be. Hopefully, we will, the guest who shall remain nameless, hopefully we'll get that guest back in here ASAP. I think y'all would have really enjoyed the interview, and we will enjoy it when we go ahead and do it. So make sure that y'all go back in the archives, man. I appreciate y'all listening to a lot of old shows. I've been looking at the stats specifically on Spotify. Y'all pulling up a lot of shows from 2-3 years ago, and we planning on doing something big, man, for our 5-year anniversary in October. So that should be really, really dope. If you are in the city of Atlanta, make sure you check us out at Jack's Pizza and Wings every Wednesday for hip-hop trivia, ATL. Best trivia night in the country, hands down, back-to-back winners in creative loafing and all of that. And we'll see you next week with another dope show. Peace.